What is your name?
My name is Alec Calderwood. I'm 59 years of age. I come from a Shankill Road, a wee place at the bottom of Shankill called Brown Square.
My name's Thomas McKeown. I'm 61. I live in the Shankill and I've been living in the Shankill all my life.
My name is Anthony Higgins. I'm 59. I'm from the Falls Road.
My name is Sammy Haxall McGaw. I live in the Shankill.
My name is PJ Jones. I'm 61. I'm originally from the markets in Belfast. I am now living in Cullentree Fold, Falls Road.
I'm Louise Quinn. I'm 59, Falls Road, Belfast.
What is your name?
My name's Rosaline.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'll be 70 this year. I'm from the Falls.
My name is Mary. I'm originally from Cooper Street.
My name is Christy Beatty.
How old are you?
Not telling you. Over 21. Where am I from? I'm from the district here, born and reared in Sultan Street.
Do you live near the peace line, and has it had any impact on your life?
I had the experience of living in the Short Strand for 12 years, which was on the peace line of Nard Road, East Belfast.
It had a very, very big impact as a child. There was friends that I couldn't play with and run about with. I had a girlfriend from the Shankill that I met through a youth forum as a kid. It was very, very small, but that had stopped because of the conflict that was here and basically the peace line.
I was born and reared beside where the peace line is now, and I remember the first time a wall went up separating the Catholics and the Protestants, and it was like just an ordinary big breeze block wall that the soldiers built, and I lived about 200 yards away from it.
Well, when I was a young fella, I lived about 20 feet away from, it wasn't the peace lines as we know today. In those days, when the Troubles started, what they done was put barbed wire across the road, and that's what started to separate the two communities.
One day it wasn't there, the next day it was, type of thing.
So we were closed off and you just kept to your own road during the Troubles.
I have lived at the peace line in 1981, the same night Bobby Sands died in Springfield Park I lived. And we had to flee our homes because Spring Martin had opened up, and I lived in number 99, and we had to all get out of our homes at the top of Springfield Park and go into a hostel.
Can you explain what your life was like during the Troubles?
Frightening to a degree, but at the same time, as a child, you thought it was the norm. You thought it was normal because you were growing up through it. Personally, myself, because of a bit of rats, I was seriously injured with my cousin. He was killed when I was 13. We got caught up in a bomb and he got killed and I survived.
Can you explain what your life was like during the Troubles?
Well, it was a terrible time during the Troubles because you were just roaming the streets expecting something to happen or somebody got killed, or it was just...
I was naming the Troubles started, and I remember a couple of days before I was playing football with my Catholic friends, and I never ever heard Catholics, the word Catholic or Protestants ever mentioned. It was a thing I never ever heard. But I remember the night the Troubles started, it was about 11:30, and when we were brought out of our house, we looked down the street, Conway Street, and I seen all these houses on fire, which was a couple of my friends' houses that I was playing with the day before.
When the Troubles started, and when I lived in Brown Square, because we were so close to the peace line, my first memories would be of getting roused out of my house at 2 o'clock in the morning because maybe a riot had broke out between the two communities.
Well, it was turned upside down overnight, and the place where I worked was burned. And so I was out of a job at that time.
I remember being isolated and being confined to the community that I lived in because of the conflict and because of I was told that by parents and stuff that I didn't kind of leave the area, and just for safety reasons, you know, because there were serious times then, you know, so.
Well, during the Troubles, we just got on with life as normal because there was nothing else. You had to go to work, come back from work, get on with your life. You just had to be a wee bit more aware during the Troubles of where you went, where you didn't go, and things like that there.
I was still able to go to work and all. I was a HGV driver for Harkness over at Mount Pottinger Road. And just all over Ireland, like driving all over Ireland. So I was still able to go to work, you know. Except when I got after the
What was your life like before the baselines went up?
It was fantastic, because we could have went shopping up the Shankill, Sandy Row, same as the people from the Shankill, vice versa. Everyone went everywhere with no animosity or anything to be frightened of.
Well, as I say, I lived in Cooper Street, and I had friends both sides of the thing, and it was just normal. There was no religion, wasn't talked about or wasn't a factor in our lives at that time. Only when it came to the marching season, things would have been a wee bit different.
You were free to go wherever you wanted to, and you weren't afraid to walk any streets, and you just had to watch where you went.
It was horrible. You didn't feel safe.
Well, the life before Peaceline went up was alright, because I ran about with Catholics and went out with Catholics to the dances and that. I had no trouble whatsoever mixing.
What was your reaction to the peace walls being put up?
I thought that was the end. That was a killing point of cross community. When the gates went up and the walls went up, that was cutting everybody apart.
Well, I thought it was a bad thing, really, you know. I think it only divided the city more than what it was, you know.
To be perfectly honest, it didn't make that big of an impact on me. I mean, as I say, one day they weren't there, the next day they were there. I don't think it's a good thing. Like, definitely don't think it's a good thing. But at the time, they were necessary. They were a necessary evil. I think it made me feel safer, having the walls up.
Well, at that time, they had to be put up at the start of the Troubles, but we would like to see them staying open longer and then eventually coming down altogether.
Well, the action to the walls was it had to happen, you know. I mean, people were in fear, and people lived on the edge of these interfaces, you know, and it was a sensible thing to do at the time, you know. Probably made it a lot more cleaner and neater looking, because way back then it was like barbed wire, fencing, bricks, anything, an old fan or lorry, anything to block a street that stops other vehicles, or I have to say, you know, gunmen, anybody coming in to kill people, you know. So now the walls went up, and it gave the people on each side a bit of peace, you know. It gave them that bit of reassurance that they were safe in their homes at night, you know.
Well, at that age, you didn't really know much about the peace line and things like that there. But as I say, growing up as a kid, when you seen the peace line going up and the soldiers and everybody coming in, as a kid, it was brilliant, it was great, it was excitement, but because we didn't know what the consequences were going to turn out to be.
Well, I think when the walls went up, that was the thing that really created them and us.
What is your hopes for the future of the peace lines?
I think it'd be better if they were down, really, you know.
Well, I would like to see them all removed. I would like to see them all removed. I don't know whether I would like to see them at this moment in time, but I would eventually like to see them all the peace lines, every vestige of the peace lines removed completely.
Well, I hope to take them away and the children can all live in peace and be happy, you know what I mean? It's the main thing.
Well, my hope for the future is I would like them to go. I would like the society, and I would like the young people in this society, you know, to enjoy life, you know, to relax, you know, to mingle, to be together, to not live under that pressure of sectarianism, you know, and to make their own minds up, you know, and live their lives the way they want to, and not live in the past, and not be influenced by people in the past, you know, that, you know, this is the way it would be. So hopefully the peace lines will go down, you know. It's okay for me saying I don't live on a peace, really, I do live on a peace line here. I can see the peace line from here, you know, Northumberland Street and different, the gates are closed at night, you know, and we are sealed off again. You know, I would like them to be open all the time. But I mean, for people who live in a home on a peace line, you know, it'll be a terrible fear, you know, for that wall to come down. And I suppose it's down to everybody to sign up to the agreement that no one will attack each other, you know, but it's going to be a long and hard process, you know, I would say, you know.
My hope for the future is when I look around me, I especially see it like my son and that, it gives me great joy to see Catholics and Protestants now mixing with each other.
I would personally, in my opinion, I would like to see the peace lines coming down. There should be more forums as such to let the younger generations coming forth to regenerate what there was before any conflict happened.
What are your hopes for the future of the peace lines?
My hope for the future for the peace lines that they would go. I actually don't like to call them peace lines anymore because I feel that they're very divisive. When there's a wall there, it creates them and us. And that was the way that when I grew up as a young person, it was always about them and us. And that's what led to most of the problems in life. So I would just like to see them being removed.
Any advice you'd give to us as young people?
Just get on with your lives, do the best you can. Don't think, I have grandchildren and they have friends from both sides, and they'll ask me questions about years ago, what it was like when I had friends, and I just tell them it's just where you are now.
Stay connected to both sides of the community, because our future is dependent on the young, and it's only the young that can move us forward out of all this, well, it's not nonsense, out of all this trauma and distress that people went through. It's up to you, the young, to take us forward and even get educated, because education we didn't have the opportunity really to have. But I know now, through grandchildren, the more you're educated, the more intelligent you are, and you're aware of what's going on around you. So you can move things forward on both. It's all about you, the young, to do that for us.
The best advice that I could give you is, it got me through the troubles, is to live and let live. Treat people as they treat you. If somebody's going to be any way and any harm, just keep away from them. You don't have to be cheeky to say anything, just say nothing, step away. Anybody that's nice to you, be nice to those. And I've always, it's what my mother told me and what I was born into.
The advice that I would like to give basically is just about, if you have friendships with people with the other community, base them on what you know and base them on what you believe. Don't be listening to outsiders and don't be listening to politicians, but just make your decisions for yourself. If you're in relationships with people from the other community now as a young person, well then keep your friendships and keep doing what you're doing, because obviously it's right for you now.
Yep.
The thing I enjoyed most about the project was learning how to use the cameras and what you need to do to find out how to get a good angle on them, and it doesn't have to just do with holding the camera and just videoing them. It's something to do with also maths and learning stuff.
I didn't know about the peace wall, but it's pretty interesting for me to learn about history of it.
The thing I would take away the most would be
hearing like different people's reactions and how they have lived out these stories that I've heard, and just like having like them able to like say in words and have it like recorded and documented their experiences is something I'll probably hold with me.